If you are watching this, then I'm assuming that you're somebody who is ready to go after their goals in life. Now, in this channel, I talk a lot about you going after your God-given gifts. I specifically talk a lot about creating healthy habits to adopt when going after those dreams of yours. We aren't perfect though, and there are lots of things that can stop us from reaching that dream life that we desire. Here are 7 obvious blockers that may be preventing you from achieving your goals. When it comes to reaching your dream life, you may be wondering what is stopping you. You may not realize it, but maybe you have been living this way for a while now, and you've just been accepting the way it is. Now, at any point, if you're hearing what these blockers are and you start to get irritated or even maybe emotional while hearing it, I encourage you to stop the video, get a notebook, or even before I get the notebook, and write down how you're feeling. The first blocker is fear. An example of fear is when you want to go to the gym, but you're afraid of how you're going to use the equipment, or will people be looking at you? So the fear stops you from going to the gym to work out. Fear can stop you from growing and taking the necessary risks that you need to take when going after your goals. Guilt is the second blocker. Guilt is living in regret and letting it eat you up inside. It's maybe when in the past you have said something that, you regret. When you stay in guilt, it gets heavier over time. Usually what needs to be done is a lot of forgiveness towards yourself. The third blocker is anger. Anger will crush your dreams. It also may crush the dreams of those around you. Now, there is frustration and there is anger. The difference between the two is that frustration is when you're sitting in traffic and you're a bit frustrated because there's no traffic going forward. Now, anger is if you feel frustrated, but you decided to get out of your car and go yell at the people in front of you. That is the difference between frustration and anger. When it turns to anger, it has a ripple effect, not just on your life, but on those around you. The fourth blocker is self-sabotage. Now, self-sabotage is not always in your face. It actually can creep up from time to time. Usually this is when you are about to achieve something in life. But then self-sabotage gets in the way and you think, oh, am I really worth this? Is this work that I just did, is it even good enough? Is anybody gonna like me or like this? This self-sabotage, now, you are not born with self-sabotage. This is something over time that we pick up. You picked up this lie from somewhere. Either somebody has told you that you're not worth it, or you just put pressure on yourself to be perfect. Whatever it is, self-sabotage will stop you from living out your dream life. Because the reality is that you are worth it. Now, this next blocker, I'm just going to call it out. It's called laziness. You might have said to yourself that you were going to lose that extra weight, or you were going to build that business. But in reality, you never did. Instead, you just got stuck scrolling on Facebook or watching Netflix, whatever you get distracted with. The best way to overcome laziness is to call it out. So just like anger, where I mentioned to you that there is frustration and then there is the action of frustration that turns into anger, this next blocker I'm also going to explain to you. There is jealousy and then there is envy. You guessed it right. Envy is the next blocker. The difference between being jealous and being envy is that with jealousy, it's kind of a natural feeling that sometimes we get. It's when we're scrolling on Facebook and we see that person with the dog or the family or the, I don't know, pretty dress. And we're like, I would like that too. But with envy, it takes it a step further, where if you can't have that, you don't want that person to have that. To be honest, this is one blocker that I deal with, and I've had to overcome it from time to time. And the last blocker that I'm going to mention is lack of focus or misdirection. This can be anything that you know that you have to work on. For example, you have a project that is due, but you get distracted and you start scrolling on Facebook or whatever you're distracted with. You lose your focus. Now, misdirected focus takes it a bit deeper. It's when you struggle with addiction in your life. This addiction can be anything. It can be drugs and alcohol. It can even be social media. The reality is that if you have not dealt with that addiction, then that is going to continue to come up and block you from living out your goals and your dream life. And I will always encourage you to reach out to somebody for help. Now, I'm not going to leave you on a sad note. There is hope, and there is a way of overcoming these blockers in your life. It's called Ready, Set, Go. And it is a great method that many people have been using, including myself, for many years. If you're wanting to know more about Ready, Set, Go and how to use that in your life, then I encourage you to reach out to me, set up your 30-minute discovery call, and let's see how I can help you by reaching your goals and helping you overcome these blockers in your life. I want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe this video so that you can continue to see this content and other people can also see it. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, stay joyful and kick ass.